options this year in what you're going to be able to do depth-wise.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, John Holland had a great spring. He's had a really, really good camp so far. Been very, very pleased with him. Nick Bowers is got great size. He can run, he can catch, do those sort of things. He's a very physical blocker. Tom Pankos has put on some good weight, he's really dependable. He's always you know exactly what you're going to get from Tom all the time. He knows what he knows all the plays. He knows all the adjustments. He knows all those sort of things. He's got great hands, so he's a really reliable guy there. And then Danny Dalton's coming along right now. He's younger, but he's just got a knack for making plays in the passing game, and as he gains strength, he's going to just get better and better.
Have you ever thought that you'd be at Penn State with James all these years later when you first were a GA with him on that Kansas State staff? I mean, maybe not Penn State specifically, but did you see yourself sort of following and being with him throughout your coaching career, or did it just kind of happen that way?
No. I mean, when you're a GA, you're looking forward to the next 14 minutes, you know what I mean? Like, let alone 2, 3, 4 years from now. So, I mean, you're just trying to survive, make sure you got the cards right, make sure you got the playbook right, make sure you're doing all those sort of things. I do remember one day when we were at our last place, and I remember asking him, hey, are we going to be here forever? Because I was thinking about buying a house, So I was like, we're going to be here forever? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, what if Penn State opens up? And he got real quiet, so I kind of took that as maybe I shouldn't buy a house. So.
Did you buy a house?
I did not. I did not buy a house there. No, it was, so that I knew this was the only place he probably would have left the other place for, to be real honest with you. So that was the only time I ever thought about it. When you're young, you don't think about that sort of stuff. I mean, shoot, you're just trying to get through the next season.
You were the lead guy on Trace at Vandy, weren't you? Can you take us through that process? Did you have to sell him at all on other coaches, or did everybody immediately kind of realize the sort of player that he was?
No, I can remember I watched his tape, and I thought he was a really good player. But I didn't know how big he was. I didn't know this. I didn't know that. But I thought he was a really good football player. So I took him to our defensive coordinator, and he liked him, offered him as a safety. But then I said, hey, I want to go watch him throw. I went and watched him throw the first week of that spring, and it was a 6 a.m. deal, and by 7 a.m. we'd offered him. So, I mean, once I saw him throw in person, it wasn't hard to sell him. And he's such a great kid, and all the other things, except for maybe his height, shoot, that's easy to see. You know what I mean? So once I got to see him throw in person, that was easy.
When you see him throw like that, I mean, are there certain routes you want to see him do, or what are you specifically looking at in a guy like that you remember saying, man, this guy's got it?
Yeah, some guys want to see certain routes. Yeah. I never was into that so much as just seeing him execute the offense. I mean, he can make every throw. The only throw I ever do kind of want to see when I was coaching quarterbacks is a seam, an 18 to 22 yards where he just sticks his foot in the ground and comes out. In their offense, they had that in the practice I was at, so I didn't need him to do anything else. But you want to see him make a variety of throws, deep balls, all those sort of things. And more importantly, you want to see him throw on time and rhythm, and that he's actually reading things and doing stuff like that, which he did a ton of, and then I went to a couple of his games where he was already committed to us, and watching him play football. I mean, you guys see him. He loves the game, and he plays hard, and he does some amazing things with the ball. Now he fumbled 3 times at the game I was at, so his mom told me I could never come back. So that. But other than that, I mean, he's a great player, and it's not hard to see that he is.
Speaking of Trace, on Saturday he talked about how you guys have been able to maximize the matchup problem that Mike presents at tight end. Mm-hmm. In addition to his physical size, what is it about Mike that makes him difficult to defend?
Well, that's a good start. His physical size is a good start, but it's also his speed with that. His speed with that, his ability to jump and do sort of things. But I'll tell you the other thing that he's really worked on is his technique. He's not just running routes and just plowing into a guy and then throwing me a jump ball. He's taking away shoulders. He's using his hands well. He's getting his depth. He's nodding at the top of his routes and getting guys like that. So it's just hard for a secondary guy to cover him because he is so big and can jump and do some things. And it's hard for a linebacker to cover him because he's pretty fast and he's athletic and able to make moves and things like that. So he does present some matchup problems that way because of that stuff. And as he continues to develop as a blocker, which he's doing, it makes it even harder because now he can, he blocks and does some things. And anytime you got 26 in the backfield, he makes all the matchups from then on out better.